The Canadian horticultural peat industry has been collaborating with the academic scientific community for 30 years. One of the main outcomes of this collaboration is the development of the moss layer transfer technique, an ecological restoration technique for post-extraction peatlands now applied around the world. The restoration method was developed in Canada by researcher Lynn Rochefort and the Peatland Ecology Research Group based at Université Laval, in partnership with Canadian peat producers. The objective is to restore the ecological functions of peatlands, including biodiversity, hydrology, and carbon sequestration. The restoration method is based on two fundamental principles: the reintroduction of peatland plants collected in a nearby peatland, and the rise of the water level close to the surface. The moss layer transfer technique involves 8 steps. Restoration is planned from the peatland opening stage. Once the extraction has been completed, a precise characterization of the site to be restored is carried out, and each operation is carefully described in a restoration plan. Then, the ground is leveled and reworked, and the wood debris and vegetation removed. From an adjacent area known as the donor site, the top 10 centimeters of the vegetation is harvested. This material contains plant fragments, seeds, rhizomes, and spores, enabling the recovery not only of sphagnum, but of the entire ecosystem's diversity. Only a small area is harvested, since only 1 square meter of plant material is needed to restore an area of 10 square meters. A thin layer of plant material is spread over the surface of the restoration site. The plant fragments are then covered with a protective mulch to prevent desiccation and create the microclimatic conditions required for their development. A very light dose of phosphate fertilizer is applied. Drainage ditches are blocked in order to raise the water table level. Once the restoration operations have been completed, monitoring begins to assess the evolution of the sites. In Canada, all the peatlands restored by the peat industry are part of a long-term and large-scale monitoring program conducted by researchers since 1995. More than 800 permanent plots are inventoried. The data collected is used to assess the success of the restoration and for scientific research. Studies have shown that the restoration method allows the return of plant biodiversity, bird communities, and several types of insects, and restores the capacity of peatlands to sequester carbon. Since 1995, 1,500 hectares of peatlands have been restored by the moss layer transfer technique, with an additional 8,000 hectares restored using other methods. The Canadian horticultural peat industry is proud to be an international leader in peatland restoration, to support research, and to apply existing best practices.